Now I want to talk about the quality guru. And when I talk about quality guru, I will talk about the competitive aspect of countries with regards the implementation of quality, and I will explain also the different of quality implementation, quality adaptation in uh, countries. Particularly, of course, I will relate with Malaysia because we are here, as well as Japan, Germany, and United States. Before I go to that context, I would like to introduce you in the quality guru because it relates to the philosophy that we are going to learn in this course. Uh, what I can say is quality is not from the academics. It's come from industry, particularly after Second World War. So this quality guru has played very important role in quality, especially Dr. Deming, Dr. Juran, and Dr. Crosby. They have helped Japan for the rebuilding of Japan after Second World War. This is Dr. Deming. He is very famous with his Deming 14 point. But one of his quotation that is very popular that might trigger you is that poor quality is not because of labor. It's because of the management. Because poor management has not set a good direction to the organization. Poor direction result poor job delegation, poor vision, and it result to poor quality. So it's not because of labor, because of poor quality comes from poor management. From poor management. Why? Because the management do not have continual improvement, no kaizen. In fact, not all Japanese company implement kaizen. Like yesterday, when I visited that factory, popular brand Japanese factory, they do not have kaizen. So that's why they have problem. 90 million ringgit a year for overtime. Why is kaizen? I will show you the video by Masaki Imai and in the next class. Okay, about Deming 14 management point. The first one is consistency of purpose toward improvement. Be consistent towards improvement of our product and services. Why we make improvement? Because we want to become competitive and sustainable in the market and become price. So we have to implement Kaizen continuously, consistently. It's not just temporarily. It should be continuous effort. Kaizen means everyday improvement, everywhere improvement, and everybody improvement. Improvement. It's not just today, but tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Let's say we have completed the Six Sigma improvement in last 3 months. It shouldn't stop there. It should continue continuously. That's is Kaizen. Kaizen. Kaizen means change for the better. This is mean by Kaizen. Adapt new philosophy. We must be always relevant to today's perspective. We have to adopt new philosophy. Change management is very important. So we have to change, we have to adapt ourselves. The problem to the company that we visited yesterday, they don't want to adapt the new philosophy. And then they just click with the old school of thought without making improvement. Now people talk about IR 4.0. They don't discuss about that. They don't think about that. So how could they become competitive? And now that company started the transformation by taking outside people, especially from the American companies, to work with them because they want to transform the mindset of their people. This is, I think, not a good thing about Japanese culture as well, where they have culture of grouping. So if you are a member, you are too close with this group, you will not engage with another group. They have very strong group, what we call it, spirit. And they are too, what we call it, obsessed to their leaders. And if the leaders is close-minded, if the leader do not see a new horizon, so they just follow like that. That was the problem with that company. And Deming highlighted that chase dependence on mass inspection to improve quality. Awarding business. We should end awarding business based on price tag alone. We just tell people that we will receive award, but it left like that. Just to tell people that we won award, but that it means nothing. Avoid that. End that practice. Improve constantly, forever. Improve what? To improve production, services, quality. Why we do this? Why we improve quality? Why we improve quality? Because the objective is to decrease costs. Constantly. Why improve quality? For the cost reduction. If we say that improve quality, increase costs, this is wrong interpretation. When we improve quality, costs should be reduced. This is the correct one. And training is important. Training is not a cost, but training is an investment. Improve leadership, because leadership is very important. The quality implementation should come from the top. If leader don't bother about quality, so don't talk about quality. It should come from the top, and the middle and the bottom should give the support. And the barrier in the organization. Barrier has to be eliminated. So we have to drive out fear so that everybody can work together. So we must open the chance for discussion, ideas. People must be given opportunity to give idea. For example, in Toyota, they have a suggestion scheme box. The purpose of that box is to encourage people to give ideas or opinion. Barriers, as I mentioned just now. We have to break the barriers. So how to break the barrier? So why? Because we want to ease the communication. Slogan asking for zero defect should be eliminated as well. Instead of slogan, why do we work for it and we prove it is happening? Surprisingly, Deming says that we have to eliminate the SOP on the shop floor. Why? Because the SOP should be in everybody's heart. That's why we have to institute training, and the quality becomes habit rather than SOP just standing at the shop floor. We must make it as habit. Remember the video that I've shown before. This is mentioned again. Barrier must be removed so that everybody should have opportunity to speak to the president of the company. Communication should be open. Education and training is very important for improvement. Vigorous program of education. Skill dissemination. The dissemination of tacit knowledge. Because we cannot get this tacit knowledge in the classroom. So how do we disseminate the tacit knowledge? So we need to have dojo. What is dojo? What is dojo? Training. We need to have a training center, dojo, to enable everybody to learn our tacit knowledge. How to transfer the tacit knowledge among employees. Put everybody in the company to work to accomplish the transformation. When we want to transform, the inspiration by the management, result from the strategic planning has to be shared with entire employees. That's why engagement is very important. Engagement. Maybe more in the morning market, monthly engagement is very important to let everybody know about our mission and vision. So I would like to share you this video, what Dr. Deming says.
With better quality and lower costs. You can capture the market with better quality and lower price. It'll help you to stay in business, provide jobs, more jobs. All very simple. You have to know how to produce quality. What quality is, what's the ultimate aim. Quality goes all the way through an organization. Could be no better than the top, no better than the intent of the top people.
That is Dr. Deming's single most important point. What needs to be done can be done only by top management. Professor Robert Reich, the Harvard economist who joined Dr. Deming and producer Claire Crawford Mason in this discussion, says that management too often thinks that reducing costs will solve the problem.
There are a lot of ways to reduce costs, but that is not going to enhance our standard of living, because our standard of living is based on improving the quality of our work and our skills, our skill bases, the value of what we do.
The irony is that Dr. Deming's 14 points will, in fact, reduce cost, but that isn't the point. They will create jobs and provide better products and services for the consumer. Quality will go up, and so will our skills. Best of all, we can reverse the slide in our standard of living that has become noticeable.
Point number 5 is continual improvement of processes. Finding what's wrong is not improvement of the process. If there were a fire here in this building and somehow we put it out, that does not improve the building. That's not improvement. That's putting out fires. It's very important to understand the difference between putting out fires, plugging leaks, and improvement of processes. One company I asked, what do you do about these problems? But we run it down to the bitter end. And even if we have to go to Brazil to find what happened there, we find it out. It sounds great. That's a path toward destruction because they're not studying the system. They're managing outcomes, managing defects, instead of looking at the system that produced the defects.
Point 5 sounds like point 3.
Well, yes, in a way it does. Each of Dr. Deming's 14 points is implicit in all the others. The way not to depend on mass inspection, point 3, is to continually improve the process, point 5. To do that, you'll need quality supplies, point 4. If finding a quality supplier takes time, well, remember point 1, constancy of purpose. And also remember to adopt the new philosophy, which just happens to be point 2. No one of Dr. Deming's points stands alone, nor did he intend that one should. The 14 points are one philosophy, an original way of looking at business and industry or anything else. But for our purposes, the 14 points are the body of knowledge that management needs to cure America's economic problems. And they have to be learned because no one is born with that kind of knowledge.
Point 6, training and retraining.
Point number 6 is training and retraining of management and the people. It's no good to tell somebody to do something when he does not understand why. You could not even, you could tell me to wash that table. I would not know what to do if you don't tell me why, what you're going to use it for. You're going to eat off of it, clean it up, no. And use it for some chemical purposes, not at all.
Dr. Deming's point is that not only must the workforce be trained to do the job, it must know what the job is and why it is being done. To put it another way, true leadership is not a matter of giving orders, but of giving explanations. Dr. Deming believes that the American workforce is the best in the world, the best educated, the most creative, but it must be led, not driven. Professor Rice says it's a matter of recognizing the worker's value.
Your most precious possession is not your financial assets. Your most precious possession is the people you have working there, what they carry around in their heads, and their ability to work together.
Dr. Deming says the best way to get workers to work together is to explain specifically what each person's job and responsibility is, then to divide the work into specific steps. Each person treats the next person along the line as the customer who must be satisfied.
Everybody as a customer in any organization, be it a laundry, bank, newspaper, manufacturing, education, no matter what. To do my work, I need to know who's going to use it. Whom am I working for? In an organization, who's my customer? Why am I here? What am I doing? And the customer, the next stage, must work with the preceding stage. Somebody put it so well, an anonymous contribution in one of my seminars. This I can do for you. Here's what you can do for me. Isn't that nice?
When work is organized that way, it's easy to see that two basic beliefs of American management are simply wrong.
Blaming the worker, right?
In a way, the first belief is that if everyone did the job and worked hard, you'd get quality. But if the process is wrong, all the hard work in the world can't make quality.
Make sweat.
The second belief is if workers would pay attention and not make mistakes, all our problems would be solved.
Won't work.
Well, when Dr. Deming is asked about that, he asked people how they think Continental Illinois Bank got into trouble.
Do you think that happened because of mistakes of tellers? Mistakes in calculating interest on penalties and loans? Do you think so? Does anybody think so? From operations? Nonsense. Those things are attributable to management.
In fact, Dr. Deming says only 6% of the problems in industry can be traced to the workers. 94% are caused either by management or by the system. And since only management can redesign the system, only management can be blamed if it's wrong.
Justice.
Well, it's not exactly fair. Just as the workforce has to be trained, so does management. Leadership has to be better.
Point number 7 is improvement of leadership, which we commonly call supervision. I think that it should be called leadership. Leading people to help them to do a better job, be it in management or on the factory floor. Supervision should be replaced by leadership. There's no secret, once again, about what leadership is. What leadership must do is to help people. Point 13 is self-improvement. Program of self-improvement, education, improvement in other ways, helping people to live better. Education in whatever one's fancy might take them into. History, music, archaeology, anything, whatever. Keep people's minds developing. Education need not be connected with the work. Maybe better if it's not. Point number 6 is training and retraining for the job. Point number 13 is elevating people's minds. No organization can survive with just good people. They need people that are improving. And the problem is people at the top. In any profession, the good ones are hard to find. Help people to be good ones. But the education need not be connected with the work. Keep people's minds moving.
Okay. So from that video, I want to ask you, what do you understand about improve the process versus putting out fire? Can anybody explain? Improve process versus putting out fire. What is example of putting out fire? What is the example of improve the process?
Putting out fire is one time. Improve of processes is many times. I mean, keep on doing it to improve the process. So then we no longer got fire.
Okay. Any example? Any other example? Is there any other example?
If I may give one example that's currently happened to me. There is an error identified today. So and my team resolved the error. So then the further instruction is not that just to resolve the error, because resolve the error is just putting out fire, but to find what are the error, how come it become that error, and what are the reason the error occur. So that is the improvement of process.
Why do you ask like this? Okay, error. Okay, your problem. What can you specify the problem? Error.
Error on the programming. Yeah.
Error on programming. Okay. Let me change color. Okay, take the color. Okay. First level. First why. Why error on the programming?
Error on programming due to the mistake.
Mistake what?
Of the coding.
Coding. Then second why. Why mistake coding?
Carelessness create that
Careless.
Yeah.
Why careless?
No process of checking.
No checking process.
Yeah. No checking process.
For why? Then why no checking process?
Nobody are doing it. I mean, no specific
No specific stuff
task or stuff for
to
that.
check.
Yeah.
Then why no specific stuff to check?
Why no stuff? Something to do with the organization. I need to
No, be specific to the stuff. Because now we are going down to the stuff.
stuff. Nobody been assigned to that task.
Nobody assigned to that task. How about the competency? Do they have do you have staff to do the checking with the knowledge, or maybe you don't have staff who have knowledge?
Um, I think because this specific error is not due to the competency. So that's why I'm not
But
thinking about
no one do the checking.
no one do the checking.
Okay, now we have gone down to the fifth why. The reason why you have programming error, sorry, this is another error on my pen. Why we have programming error? Because we don't have people to do the checking.
Yeah.
So the how. So how to solve this? How to do the countermeasure? What should we do?
To assign to create a process to resolve these issues instead of
To create process or create CREATE, create process. Plus maybe we
assign personnel.
we include checking as one of the steps.
Yeah.
To avoid programming errors, because sorry for the bad handwriting, because I'm writing on the what we call this webcom.
Oh,
So oh, I see. So when we have this, we have done this 5 why, 1 how, or some people call it 5 wife, 1 husband technique. So we can see the root cause of the problem. So if we can solve this, can we solve the entire problem throughout?
Yes.
So this is not firefighting. This is what we call continuous improvement.
Yeah.
We improve the process at the root cause rather than when we have mistake programming, we solve here. And suddenly it will happen again and again.
Yes.
But if you improve the process and it becomes the standard that somebody is specially assigned to do the checking, you can avoid the error programming so that you are not going to bear an extra cost to the rework. Okay, others, can you add up? Jeffrey, Jack, Li Xingpeng. Who is Li Xingpeng?
Peter.
Oh, Peter. Oh, sometimes change to Li Xingpeng. Jeffrey, Jack, and where is another 2 ladies? Hidayah, Izati, Amira?
Yeah, I think the theory is quite clear here.
Mhm.
Firefighting is something that we do to correct the mistakes, whereas the we should be focusing on improving the process in order not to repeat the same mistake again and again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So by doing this, I before this I use four W and one H, so that means four
Mm.
wife and one husband.
Mm.
But now I think we can actually add in more to becomes five.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes when we at the fourth level, also we found the root cause.
yes, yes.
Sometimes we have to go down until fifth, until sixth maybe,
Okay, all right.
until
So
find the actual root cause.
correct. So maybe I use four because that was the theory that was taught to me last time. So I think four is the sufficient number to identify where the problem
Yeah.
actually happens. We can actually go more beyond that actually. Yeah,
Yes.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So that was my opinion on this error on programming that was raised by Sharon. So we should be focusing more on how to improve the process in order not to
Putting out fire.
putting up fire again and again, which is going to be more costly as compared to improving the process once.
Yes.
So once and for all, we will actually eliminate the mistake of having error on programming.
Yeah.
That was my thought on this.
Businessman like you want to reduce cost so that you want to solve the problem once for all. But for the employees, they like to look busy in front of you, so they like to do the firefighting.
It depends on the attitude, actually. Prof.
Yeah.
Attitude and the culture itself,
Yes.
whether they like to do that or they like to have a simplified work process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go to the next slide. This is another quality guru, Dr. Juran. He is very famous with Juran trilogy, planning, control, improve. So this is also related to what we have mentioned before, PDCA cycle. So we plan, then we do, after that we check, we act, then we plan again. So this is also used in the audit process. So when you prepare the procedures, you report what you want to do to the auditor in your audit documents, that what you're doing with the plan. So the auditor will verify whether you do this or not. So they want to see the evidence that you have done this. They want to see the evidence. For example, you plan, you want to use check sheet. So where is your check sheet? So where is the check sheet being filled? So you must to show that. If you mention that you monitor your process with SPC, so where is your SPC? So when you have reject, so what you do? They want to see, okay, I do 5Y and 1 how technique. So where is the evidence? So that's on the do. So not necessarily everything that we plan, we successfully done. So along the way, we have to check, we have to do the what we call alignment to the process. That's what we discussed just now when we discovered the last why. Then on the how side, we know that we have to improve the process. So we do the improvement, we act, we do improvement, we remap the process, and then we plan again. So that is highlighted by Dr. Joran, and it is being used by most of the auditors. They want to see what you plan, you do, and how you do the alignment. You report what you, in terms of your alignment, in the meeting, or maybe you present your alignment and then you do the correction. You also have document to show that you really have the correction being done. This is minuted, recorded, and then you also have shown the evidence that you do the new planning, and then you have the result from the new planning. You verify your improvement. So the auditor want to see that in the ISO audit. But the lacking here is we often face problem where we lack of documentation. Lack of documentation because maybe the writing is not part of the culture in some countries. So when we talk about quality, reporting, documentation, writing on the documentation, everything what we have planned should be there. This is what I have explained just now. And when we talk about improvement, because in this class we have two entrepreneurs here, you must understand Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs. You must admit that your language and their language is different. So when you want to make improvement, for example, in Toyota, they have suggestion scheme box, and they reward their employees for the suggestion. And then for the Kaizen initiative, they also reward the employees. And then they have Kaizen competition throughout the company. And then they have kind of, in Malaysia, we call it family day. Everybody or the family will come to the factory, see what the husband and the father's doing every day to feed the family, yeah? And then get engagement, make sure there is a contact, communication between management and the families. So by doing that, they can maybe understand the needs of everybody, so they can compromise in terms of the needs, and finally bring that to the understanding that the company has to be successful, because everybody has to stay in the company, and this company is a like rice of bowl to the family. So we have to admit that the language is different. They want things rather than management wants more profit. But if we can tolerate with this, finally we can get the, what we call it, jalan tengah, midpoint, so that we can do the improvement. And Dr. Jurang also believe on the Pareto law, where the quality problem, majority of the quality problem comes from the very few causes, very minimal. 20% actually they affect or influence to the 80%. I can relate to yesterday's example again. Overtime. Language of things, because they want to buy things with the money, they need overtime. Because of the salary is not very good maybe. And nowadays we can see the price of goods in the market. So they need overtime. But for the long run, it's not good to the company. 90 million a year cost to the company. Perhaps we can reduce overtime, but we can increase the salary. But because of the employees want overtime, then the management want to make the employees happy. They thought that just overtime, that's very minimal, no problem. But it affects the entire factory performance. Why? Because They don't want to do Kaizen, they don't want to improve their process, because if they can finish the target during the working hour, they don't have reason to do overtime.
Yeah.
Although it is simple, but its effect to the factory performance. Izan, how many days they are working? 280 days a year or 214 days? It's lower than Proton, if I'm not mistaken. Lower. Why lower? Because they want to reserve the time, working hour, for overtime instead of work in the working hour. So when you go back to your organization, please observe this 20%. This 20% one day will bring disaster, tsunami to your company, I believe. Because of iceberg, this is hidden. We don't realize it's happening. It's hidden. Or maybe I can say in our society, hide under the carpet. But this hidden, although it is small, but once it's explode, it creates disaster. Okay, let's listen to Dr. Juran.
As a strong ring of reality. Let me start with the assumption that you want quality leadership. That is a safe assumption. So the real question is, how do we go from here to there? What must we do differently from what we have been doing? I'm going to propose some answers on how to go from here to there. These answers are derived from real life experiences. Numerous companies have already been impacted by severe competition in quality, especially from abroad. This competition relates to quality in the sense of customer satisfaction and product salability. Other companies are severely impacted by quality problems in the form of product deficiencies, failures which create customer dissatisfaction, or which create high cost of poor quality. Many companies have tried to regain their quality leadership as to product salability. They have also tried to bring down the cost of poor quality. Some of the companies have made good progress, others have not. We at Duran Institute have received a good deal of feedback from many of those impacted companies. We have analyzed that feedback in order to identify the commonalities. What were the actions which converged to produce good results? What were the roads which led nowhere? My message is really a summary from all that feedback, a summary of the lessons learned. The first of our lessons learned is that most of those failures to make significant progress were due to a poor choice of strategy. As a result, the approach was doomed to failure no matter how well the execution was carried out. Let me explain the nature of that choice. The upper managers of those impacted companies looked over the options which were available to them. These and other options were urged on the managers by advocates, insiders as well as outsiders. The upper managers then made their choice from these options. Within 2 or 3 years, many reported that the choice they had made did not pay off. But why did so many companies choose strategies which failed? The main reason is that the upper managers, despite their competence as business managers, lacked adequate working knowledge of how to manage for quality. Lacking this knowledge and pressed for action now, the managers made a choice which seemed reasonable. In the dialect of the marksman, their choice was ready, fire, aim. But they would not have made such a choice had they been adequately grounded in the subject matter. That brings us to the next lesson learned. To make a wise choice of strategy, managers need adequate knowledge of how to manage for quality. The knowledge needed to manage for quality turns out to be surprisingly simple. It consists of just a few fundamental concepts. Once these fundamental concepts are grasped, managers can much more confidently apply their prior experience and training to formulate a sound strategy for quality leadership. Some of these concepts can be derived by analogy, by looking at the concepts which underlie financial management. Financial management makes use of three well-known processes. First, financial planning. This process sets out the business goals, develops the actions and resources needed to meet the goals, translates goals and action into money, and summarizes them into the financial budget. Second, financial control. This process goes by such names as cost control, expense control, and so on. Third, financial improvement. This process aims at doing better than the past. It takes such forms as cost reduction, purchase of new facilities to raise productivity, and so on. Managing for quality uses those same three processes. When we apply these three processes to managing for quality, they become quality planning, quality control, quality improvement. The three processes of this quality trilogy interact with each other. It all starts with quality planning, the process of establishing quality goals and developing the means for meeting those goals. Quality planning consists of a rather standardized series of steps as follows. Identify the customers, both external and internal. Determine customer needs. Develop product features which respond to customer needs. Products include both goods and services. Establish goals for those product features. Develop a process to meet the product goals. Prove that the process can meet the product goals under operating conditions. Once planning is complete, the process is turned over to the operating forces. Their job is quality control, to run the process and meet the planned product goals. Let me demonstrate with the help of a visual model. In this model, the horizontal scale is time. The vertical scale is quality in the negative sense of percent of product deficiencies or cost of poor quality. What goes up is bad. The quality planning process is at the left-hand side of the model. At time zero, operations get underway. It soon becomes evident that product deficiencies abound. In this example, the products produced are deficient in various ways, resulting in a total of 20% deficiency. Why are the products deficient? Most usually, the deficiencies are traceable to the quality planning process. That planning process, for whatever reasons, has resulted in that high level of product deficiencies. In effect, it was planned that way. Under conventional organization structures, the operating forces do not have the responsibility and or the resources needed to replan the processes to get rid of the deficiencies. However, they do have the responsibility for quality control, and that is what they do. In simple language, the job of the operating forces is to maintain whatever quality level has been planned into the process. Their job also includes putting out fires, such as that sporadic spike on the model. Here, product efficiency soars to over 40%. The operating forces take steps to bring the quality level back to around 20%. The third process in the trilogy is quality improvement. In this model, the result of improvement is to reduce the chronic level of deficiencies from the original 20% down to a much lower level, in this case, about 3%. Let me note here that without exception, the companies which have made great progress toward quality leadership have done so by carrying out a great many quality improvements. These improvements take place project by project and are carried out by a universal improvement process as follows. Identify specific projects for improvement. Organize project teams with responsibility to discover the causes of the deficiencies and develop remedies. Prove that the remedies are effective under operating conditions. Deal with cultural resistance to remedial change, and provide for control to hold the gains. Quality improvement is applicable to all industries, functions, and processes. We note that once the planning is complete, there's no clear responsibility for improvement. The operating forces take over, but their job is quality control, not quality improvement. How then have some companies managed to make so many quality improvements? The resounding feedback is that they did it by establishing a new organization structure and new managerial processes specially designed to make extensive improvements in quality. It is perfectly natural for upper managers to look for ways to delegate the quality revolution to subordinates. After all, ability to delegate is one of the essential skills of a manager. Upper managers in a great many companies have tried to apply this traditional delegation concept to launching a quality revolution. Generally, these managers realized that they were dealing with something out of the ordinary, something unprecedented. Hence, they resorted to extraordinary ways to transmit an unmistakable signal. They employed well-designed spectacles, slogans, and banners to impress indelibly on their subordinates that quality was now to be the top priority goal. Generally, these exhortations did raise the visibility of the quality problem. However, any resulting improvement in quality generally fell far short of the upper manager's hopes. The reasons for these shortfalls are clear, and they should be understood by upper managers. The exhortations try to secure action from middle managers who already have full-time and clear responsibility to control, to meet an array of formal, legitimate goals, budgets, schedules, specifications, quotas. Resources have been provided to meet those goals. Performance is evaluated, and a merit rating system rewards performance against goals. As viewed by middle managers, the exhortation approach is vague in all respects: goals, responsibility, resources, evaluation. The prior control responsibility remains in effect, as does the merit rating system. So the middle managers keep on doing what they've been doing. The vagueness inherent in the exhortation approach cannot possibly compete in priorities with a structured, legitimate system of goals, responsibilities, resources, evaluation, and merit rating. In my experience, these same shortfalls have cost many companies 2 or 3 years of delay with associated internal divisiveness. Here and there, the upper managers have lost credibility. They were perceived not as leaders, but as cheerleaders. In managing for quality, as in managing for finance, there are certain essential activities which should not be delegated by upper managers. Serve on the Quality Improvement Council, approve the broad quality goals, allocate the needed resources, review progress, give recognition, serve on some project teams. A realistic look at those tasks and the purposes behind them leads to the conclusion these tasks should not be delegated. Too much is at stake. Being essential and not being delegable, these tasks should be performed by the upper managers personally. Such are the realities. Our feedbacks have made clear that the most influential factor in successful quality revolutions has been the active participation of upper management. In fact, to our knowledge, every successful quality revolution has included the active participation of upper management.
Okay, that is very important fact. by the upper management. Quality revolution should not be passed to others. It should be a responsibility of the upper manager. And upper manager must be knowledgeable. If they have inadequate knowledge, then they have problem. And quality planning is very important. One of the, Dr. John also mentioned that quality planning is very important. Dr. Genichi Taguchi said, quality has to be designed. It should come from the design stage. Even before the prototype exists, we have to design for the quality. So we have to design for robustness. Okay, this is Dr. Ishikawa, another quality guru. And Dr. Ishikawa highlighted on the training. We use statistics for the quality improvement, company-wide quality control. Everybody must involve, complete involvement of the workforce to improve quality. And this is Dr. Anman Fugangbaum, is the father of total quality management. And three-step process to improve quality: leadership, quality technology. We have to use technology. For example, in order to capture data, we need to have technology for data logger. We need to have sensors to detect the problems, and so on. And another quality guru is Dr. Crosby. He emphasized on the zero defect approach, emphasized on the behavior and motivational aspect for quality improvement. Human resource is very important. This is in line with Dr. Deming, democratized training, and so on. This is video on Dr. Crosby, but the video is not very good. The sound is not very good.
I guess I worked for 10 or 12 years before
So
I
let's
ever
know
found out
this is
that
Dr.
management
Crosby.
was supposed to help you. I always thought management
He
was
speak
kind of a
very
punishment from God.
thick Texas accent. And this is my teacher, Dr. Genichi Taguchi. I learned the quality from his family. I think most of his talk about quality, I think I have mentioned before. He talked about quality loss function, robust design, and improve quality. So we need to improve the robustness by reducing the variances. And he speak Japanese, but I just play the video for a while. At least you know him.
現実の品質管理の、問題は品質の中にも品質管理っていう問題と品質改善っていう問題あります。で、もちろん管理が
Okay, this is the translation of what he spoke. Actual problem of quality management is mostly the problem of quality management itself, or quality managers itself, and the problem of quality improvement. So problem of quality comes from the manager and the initiative for the quality improvement. And of course, if the management is bad, the quality becomes worse. Again, management. Therefore, proper management is very important. Regarding Dr. Joran gave huge impact to Japan. Dr. Deming has implanted the idea of quality management is important. But although management is very important, but media managers, if do not participate, quality cannot be initiated as well. So we need participation by company-wide in the company. So from what we have learned from the quality gurus, these are the variables, important variables pertaining to quality. Mentioned by majority of the quality guru, leadership is very important. So leadership is number one, and most of the researchers has proven leadership is the most significant variables for quality. And then information analysis. So how do we make improvement without information? So we need to convert our data into information. That's why we will learn quality tool next week. Strategic planning, engagement and involvement of the employees, improvement of the employees by training, quality assurance, customer, department, philosophy, and so on. These are among core variables pertaining to quality. So from those variables, when we do analysis, study by the researchers, we found that this is the core. Again, leadership, employee improvement. How do we institute training, as mentioned by Dr. Deming, for our employee to improve the competency? And also the manager, they must have adequate knowledge, as mentioned by Dr. Juran. And quality assurance, customer. Now we have term what we call a total customer experience. How customer experience and engagement participation of the customer to help company to improve. Even 3M, they have made initiative. They use, they call it focus customer, focus group customer, where customer, selected customer, help the 3M company to bring innovation. And from the activity, finally, they managed to get 2 or 3 breakthrough innovation and couple of incremental innovation. So this is another theoretical framework for quality management. Again, as you see here, leadership is in the middle, supported by quality assurance, employee again, and philosophy. So I think that's all for this topic, but I want some activities from you. Since Dr. Jurang mentioned about quality planning, in your group, please identify what is your problem, then identify the causes that leads to the problem. Maybe you can use fishbone diagram to demonstrate the cause and effect. And then based on what being shown by Dr. Joran just now, please do the quality planning.